It's no secret that Alabama has controlled the Iron Bowl rivalry both on the field and on the recruiting trail in recent years. While Auburn is kind of muddled along under Brian Harsin, Nick Saban has been stacking #1 recruiting classes in the past 3 years. Now enter Hugh Freeze, one of the few coaches to get the better of Saban in both regards, dating back to his time at Ole Miss. The new Tigers head man closed out the 2023 recruiting cycle strong, moving Auburn within spitting distance of a top 15 class after taking over one that ranked in the 50s nationally. 2024 is the first chance for these two coaches to really go head-to-head on the recruiting trail, and they're doing exactly that already. Here's 5 recruitments that have both programs heavily involved. Let's look at these Alabama-Auburn recruiting battles. Linebacker Sterling Dixon, edge Jordan Ross, wide receiver Perry Thompson, wide receiver Cam Coleman, and athlete Daniel Hill. All right, let's bring on Director of Recruiting here at On3, Chad Simmons, to start talking about some Alabama-Auburn recruiting battles early in the cycle. Let's start with linebacker Sterling Dixon. Now, Chad, he's been committed to Alabama since December, but Auburn's all over him, and he already visited Auburn in January, and I think he's going to go back this spring. So early on, which way you leaning on Sterling Dixon, Alabama commitment?
Yeah, I have to lean towards him staying with Alabama right now, Josh. Obviously, there's been some changeover on the defensive side of the ball at Alabama, giving Auburn maybe a little bit of a cracked door to kind of jump in this race. And the new staff has, like you said, coming very aggressive after the talent out of Mobile, Alabama. But right now, I do like where Alabama sits as the commitment and as the leader, and really to hang on to Sterling Dixon.
All right, 4-star edge Jordan Ross. He's 6'5", 215-pound pass rusher out of Birmingham, Alabama, the number 6 edge in the country. He's uncommitted. Which way you leaning on this recruitment?
I think there's a little bit of frustration with Ross, being that Bama offered him a little bit later than some other schools did. And I think I go Auburn this way because of that. There's a big visit this weekend with Ross going to Tuscaloosa. If things go well, things could swing a little bit. But right now, I like where Auburn is better than Alabama.
All right, 4-star wide receiver Perry Thompson, another current Alabama commitment, pledging to the Tide about 7 months ago in June, but that was before his recruitment really blew up and before the Tigers got involved. Now, he also visited Auburn in January. Is his recruitment in flux? Who are you leaning towards?
This one was fun about a month and a half ago. Went to Auburn mid-January. Came out of that saying he was about 60% committed to Alabama. Since that visit, Bama's been on him pretty hard. He's backed off that statement, saying he's a little bit more stronger committed to Alabama. I think Auburn will be a threat to Alabama all the way through, but right now I lean still towards Alabama for the talented wide receiver.
All right, got you down for Alabama. Now we're moving on to wide receiver Cam Coleman. He's out of Phoenix City, Alabama, 6'3", 205-pound, big-bodied wide receiver. Chad, which way you leaning?
I mean, with Bama's success at receiver in recent years with Waddle and Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy, and the list goes on, hard to go against them. Obviously, Hugh Freeze has a high-powered offense. They got to get the quarterback in place and get the offense going. So right now I'm going with Holman Wiggins, Tommy Reese, and Nick Saban at Alabama for Cam Coleman.
All right, guys, do me a favor right now before we finish this list. Hit the subscribe button to the On3 YouTube page. We've got all the latest recruiting developments and a ton of college football content. Right now, hit subscribe. Thank you. All right, the last one. We're moving out of the state of Alabama. We're going all the way to the state of Mississippi to find athlete Daniel Hill. He's out of Meridian, 6'2", 220 pounds. Chad, which way you leaning?
Hard to go against Bama here, Josh. He's been there over half a dozen times already, yet to visit Auburn. He plans to be there sometime this spring. He thought he'd get there in January, didn't make it. Maybe March is the month Auburn gets him on campus. They're definitely in the mix, but hard again to go against Bama, a place he and his family are so familiar with right now early on.
Yeah, early in this cycle, it's hard to go against Alabama in any recruitment, let alone against Auburn. Chad, we're going to circle back on some of these in a couple weeks. Thanks for joining the Inside Scoop.